Good evening. This afternoon I'm going to be discussing the life and the legacy of Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743 on the plantation that belonged to his father and his mother in Virginia. And Thomas Jefferson's father passed away when Thomas was a teenager. At that age, he inherited quite a large bit of land. And Thomas Jefferson was set on the idea of building his permanent home on top of a mountain. And so he set out to build his plantation Monticello. He started construction in 1768. He would marry Martha Wiles Skelton in 1772, and Monticello would also become her home. They would live there for the rest of their lives, actually. They had two children together that would make it to adulthood, and both were girls, Martha and Mary. Thomas Jefferson went to William and Mary College, and he started his career out as a lawyer. From law, he went to the Virginia House of Burgesses, and from there he was chosen to represent Virginia in both the First and the Second Continental Congresses. It's at the Second Continental Congress that Thomas Jefferson is commissioned to head the committee that is going to write the Declaration of Independence. This would be one of Thomas Jefferson's most notable achievements, and he himself even found it to be one of his greater achievements. He would have it placed on his headstone after his passing. At the Second Continental Congress, Jefferson and four other men penned the Declaration of Independence. And from there, Jefferson's political career just blossoms. He returns home to Virginia, where he again joins the Virginia legislature. And he works very closely with James Madison during his time in the legislature. And his second work of achievement was his work on the Virginia Religious Freedom Acts. Now, Jefferson wouldn't be the person to actually have these acts passed through the legislature of Virginia, but he was very influential in the writing of these bills. There were 5 total bills. The first bill, Bill 82, is the statute for establishing religious freedom. This bill is very, very influential in the fact that it is considered to be the basis of what became the freedom of religion in the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. It's here also in Bill 82 that Jefferson first mentions the separation of church and state. Bill 83 was to protect the property interest of the Anglican Church. Bill 84 was to exempt clergymen from being arrested while conducting religious services. Bill 85 was a bill for appointing days of fasting and Thanksgiving. And the final bill, Bill 86, was a bill annulling marriages prohibited by the liturgical law. Jefferson, like I said earlier, was unable to have these passed during his time in the state legislature. However, Madison is going to be successful in having the law passed in 1786. Thomas Jefferson was a firm believer in the idea of federalism, and that you could have a separation of church and state on the federal level and still incorporate religious ideology into state government. There are, of course, many different other aspects of Thomas Jefferson's life that can be discussed. For example, his slaveholding and whether or not he fathered the children of Sally Hemings. Of course, there's numerous accounts of the children that Sally had, and DNA evidence that supports that they may have been his children. Also, the fact that he freed her children from slavery. However, I'm going to have to side with Jefferson and say that his two greatest accomplishments, the Declaration of Independence and the Religious Freedom Acts, are the things that we should focus on rather than the issue of his slave holdings. Thank you and have a great evening.